You're such an asshole.
So, in a not joking way, I warn all my audience members to avoid corporate America as a permanent place to hang your hat, in part because corporate America, major employers are just not worth it. No, Chad Elkins, I don't want to talk to you now. Chad, tune in. You're self employed, used to work at large corporations because the corporate politics were already unacceptable. It was not acceptable to work at these places. And then they started coming in with outright discriminatory practices of giving preferential treatment to hiring minorities and women, especially if you're a minority and a woman. And I said, okay, now it's even doubly so. And I had made the point, especially to my minority audience members, who are like, hey, this is a good deal for us. I'm like, it's a good deal up front. But here's the thing. Do you want to work for an environment that hires people based on the reverse, the content, no, the color of their skin and not the content of the character? Because what's going to happen, you're going to bust your ass off, you're going to become a good accountant, good engineer, whatever else it is. And like, oh, dude, I'm a Latino, I'm in. Until the person next to you is Latina, because she's female. And then she's going to be like, oh, well, I'm in because except then there's a Latinx who's in a wheelchair and so on and so on. And yes, that's not meritocratic. Yes, there's always going to be somebody more victimized and disabled than you. But the whole point is that without any form of meritocracy, there is no universal rules by which everyone can advance and promote themselves in a employment setting. And so you may think, oh, I got this advantage because of these traits I happen to be born with. I'm saying, like, yeah, those won't last the higher up you go. And can you imagine just what a mental nightmare it is working in one of these environments? It really is middle school. It's who is the most popular. And if Josh Fluke and Dilbert and my experiences in banking and all if you've ever worked at credit, if that's not enough to convince you to get out, then maybe this would. Maybe this would be. And so the going conventional wisdom has been go work at Silicon Valley, get Google on your resume. Go work at a big four, get whatever, Pete Marwick on your resume. Go work at investment banking, get JP Morgan on your resume. But you absolutely do not hang your hat there. Absolutely not, because it wasn't fair and meritocratic before, and it sure the hell isn't now for everybody. Now, here's another thing that just came out of left field in my mind. Because what was it? I was listening to The Critical Drinker, and here's an article from Superhero Hype, which links to Deadline. I mean, this is all gossipy Hollywood talk, but there's an important thing here. Victoria Alonso's lawyer fires back at Marvel and Disney. So Victoria Alonso, she was a pretty big wig over at Disney. And she was in charge of all the digital kind of graphics and making sure the movies had the right computer graphics involved. That's important. That's critical, right? Especially for Marvel superhero movies, right? But now she has to tell you, now you got to know, oh, by the way, she's she's a Latina and she's a lesbian. And so you can see where this is already going. So they fired her because Marvel jobs are, well, wait, sudden dismissal. Let me not misspeak. The sudden dismissal of Miss Alonso because, well, Marvel isn't selling. And there happens to be some politics and drama behind the scenes. But let me just read here, skip ahead into the article. Via Deadline, Alonso has hired Patty Glasser, a partner at the law firm Glassell, Fink, Howard, Avshen, and Shapiro LLP. If Glasser's name sounds familiar, it may be because she's already suing Lucasfilm and Disney on behalf of Karen McCarthy for a dismissal from The Acolyte. And in her first statement as Alonso's representative, Glasser came out swinging. The idea that Victoria was fired over a handful of press interviews relating to a personal passion project about human rights and democracy that was nominated for an Oscar in which she got Disney's blessing to work on it is absolutely ridiculous, said Glasser. Victoria, a gay Latina, by the way, she's gay and Latina. Did you know she's gay and Latina? Who had the courage to criticize Disney was silenced. Then she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. It goes on. Now, I spy with my little economist eye something far, far away and coming out of left field. But I recall that Victoria Alonso is just the most recent instance of aggrieved minority oppressed person suing previous employer wants to terminate it. I believe there was a diversity inclusion chair VP something or other in Facebook. I tried to find it, couldn't find it. There was, I just did a couple of videos back at the city of Minneapolis, their head of the diversity and inclusion department. She was let go. And then when you just search, there's a bunch of instances where this company's getting sued for discrimination. They had to pay out. There was a settlement for 125 million, all this. And I got a question for you, employers of America. Since you went and got the surgery to open your mouth to suck this big diversity and inclusion dick as deep as you possibly could, have you guys earmarked or set aside any funds for the guaranteed lawsuits that aren't coming but are already here? Let me kind of explain something to my non-accounting, non-corporate financial management members in the audience. Take 401ks, IRAs, and pensions, for example. I know it sounds boring, but hear me out. In the olden days, companies would give you a pension, and it was up to the actuaries and the accountants and mathematicians to set aside enough money away for all the employees that gave a pension to take care of them until they died. That's what a pension was supposed to do. What they found out is they didn't put away enough money for these upcoming expenses. And so thus began the great migration from pensions, where companies moved their retirement plans from out of pensions into defined contribution plans, where it is incumbent upon the employee now to contribute to a 401k. The company will match it, but that's it. The company's not giving you a check every month for the rest of your life. You're in charge of your retirement planning. Right? There's also where you do earmark budgeting. Like, okay, let's say you're a trucking company and you got a fleet of trucks. You should earmark or at least have the funds ready and available in 3 to 5 years when your trucks need to be replaced, your fleet of trucks that need to be replaced, because that's the life expectancy of the trucks. And I'm not joking. Just like you earmark for these future expected expenses, are you corporations setting aside enough money for your diversity and inclusion lawsuits, your discrimination lawsuits that are here and are going to come and are going to increase down the road? Because you cannot let's talk about what diversity and inclusion is. It is a victimhood mentality. That's what it is. It is not a profession. It is not a study. It is not a science. It is an excuse for hypocritical and lazy people to hide behind traits they were born with or that they made up to claim they are oppressed and discriminated against in whatever capacity and manner so that they get preferential treatment in society. And this is not limited to women and minorities. This is not the statement. Do not confuse my statement. All right. Traits. Oh, I have a mental disorder. Oh, I suffer from this. Oh, I think I might be have you seen how many men are winning women's sporting events? Have you seen it? And what pisses me off the most about this, not only that it's not meritocratic, and not only how people just swallow this whole, I'm like, this is a scam. The emperor has no clothes. Is how people these are lazy people, first and foremost. But then they hide behind traits they were born with and ruin the reputation of the people that share that trait. Now, in my industry, in my field here, there's a lot of, I'd even say there's a lot of hatred towards women, genuine misogyny. I don't agree with it. I judge people by the individual. But when it's nothing but vagina celebration 24/7, and you give them rank and file preferential treatment in society, hiring, scholarships, whatever, media, all that, people get sick of it. And however, whatever the unfairness, the unjust, whatever other people view it, understand though now, you have conditioned probably 2 generations, certainly 1 by now, of people who are going to school for this stuff. If they go to school for something else, this is definitely embedded with their education. Now, I don't think you get a college degree at any physical school without some kind of aggrieved study, victimhood, woo boo hoo hoo, diversity and inclusion type of stuff. And so now it is ensconced. This is a weapon. This is a tool. This is an advantage they got. And some of them might actually believe it. And even if they don't believe it, like, well, I can get money. And you invited this vampire, and all it is Marxism hiding behind diversity and inclusion, whatever euphemism. Lazy people who don't want to work. That's what communism is, by the way. All right. And now it's the, oh, what? I can get preferential treatment if I claim to have a slight mental disability. I can get preferential treatment if I identify as a woman. I could sue them for discrimination because they fired me, not because, even if it was because of poor performance or rank unacceptable behavior. Now you have enabled 2 generations of people, not minorities and women, by the way, either. Now any guy can say, oh, you discriminated against me because I have a mental disorder. You discriminated me because I'm gay. You have now enabled a generation of everyone to gun after you and probably win discrimination suits. And since you could not wait to hire a bunch of these people who are ultimately professional victims, and now they're in your ranks, and now you're going to have to fire people. You're just going to have to. Some people just don't perform well. But whereas in the past, like, yeah, you didn't perform the job well, that doesn't fly. Not in today's political zeitgeist. Not today with people's victimhood mentality, rushing to whatever trait they either legitimately have or make up. And I am not joking. Are you earmarking? Are you budgeting? Chad should be here. He knows the accounting term. I mean, earmarking is one. Like reserves. Oh, what is it? I forget what it is, but are you seriously? We're talking, well, across the S&P 5, the Fortune 500, the Fortune 1000, the biggest proponent, like Target. I love that. Man, are you guys cheerleaders? Holy cow. How much do you set aside? I'm thinking it's got to be billions over the course. You're going to have to set aside a reserve account, a fund. What is it? Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Someone who's an accountant knows. And you're going to have to do it. I'm just curious how much. But I particularly am interested in Disney because you could not be bigger cheerleaders of this fraud of diversity and inclusion. I'm not saying don't hire different people, minorities, women. Absolutely not. You hire the best. Oh my gosh, you'd be surprised how many people are in there of different races and creeds. But man, you guys have been promoting that and shoving it down our throats. And now to see this, not their computer graphics head. Oh no, it's a Latin gay woman, which should be insulting to anyone. It's like, I'm the computer graphics person. Yeah, but you like to lick vagina. But okay, yes, but I'm in charge of the graphics department. It's pretty cool, don't you think? Yeah, but you're Latina. Tell us what it's like to be oppressed. Don't you want to hear about some cool stuff I do at the studio? But hey, free money, am I right? I mean, oppression, agree. Oh, boo, hoo, hoo. And you see it more and more. It's going to add up. And I want to know. There's more of a prediction because if corporations like Disney, I was like, oh crap, we got to start setting aside a reserve, like a lawsuit reserve here. We gotta, hey, maybe some lawyers out there, maybe that could be your consulting gig. You better set aside a little bit of money there for you to advise on. Wonder what the legal mindset, Andrew at the legal mindset would think. But I think you're gonna have to squirrel away some money. You're gonna need a reserve account. And this is just gonna become the cost of doing business. I just want to point out you did it to yourselves. Instead of hiring the best, instead of holding standards, saying, no, you screwed up, you've effed up. We're not firing you because of this or that or some way you were born. We're firing you because you got screwed up or you screwed up the job. And now, oh, all you big corporations, you just got that surging. It's ugh, I can't get it out. Did you set a reserve account for all the lawsuits you get? Oh, yeah. Hang on, the lawyer will put some oil in there. Oh, okay, we got that one out. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see these lawsuits coming. Now, Do I think it's going to bankrupt these companies? I don't know, but it ain't going to help. Disney's already kind of on the ropes. I've been intending to go through Disney's finances here, like kind of figure it out, because all the people who do the critiques of movies and videos and games and all that, no one cracks open a 10K or an annual report and looks at it. But for those of you on my team, the meritocratic ones, those of us who put our content of character ahead of the color of our skin or the plumbing down below, and if you're going to go for a firm and they're all doing the diversity inclusion thing and whatever, celebrating this month or that month, whatever. Okay, one, I don't think you're going to be able to get promoted above a certain point unless you're within the group, unless you sit at the table, as they say in John Wick. But I'd keep an eye on their finances, especially 5-10 years from now. Is it okay? How many lawsuits are coming in? I mean, what? Hang on, let me look at Disney's profit. They've made a profit. I know everyone says they lost money. They didn't. They made money. Okay, quarterly. They had a net income of 1. Oh, that's it. Oh, revenue 23 billion. Net income 1.28 billion. That's per. I'm sorry, that's per quarter. So yeah, they're still making 4 billion. Let's see, September income. Oh man, you guys had a horrible September. 162 million in net income. Oh, they did take a hit. 1.28, 470 million. Oh, that's good. That's good. You need to print off more money, Disney. Oh, wait, you're not the government. More diversity and inclusion. Don't hire good, talented people that like got really good stories and ability to write. And no. You keep hiring people based on the color of their skin and their plumbing down below, and not their content of character. I can't wait to see how that ends up for you. Hey, can we get a sequel to Strange Worlds? Can we get a sequel to that? All right. So that's just little prediction. I just want to see you like keep an eye out if all of a sudden those numbers start adding up and there's news reports about like, oh yeah, it costs whatever Target Corporation another lawsuit. Hand clogs $2 for a super sticker. I can't see it. Hopefully you guys can. Sam Whiskey, $5. Cappy. Minorities are not allowed to be individuals. Boy, you got that right. Holy cow, to these Democrats, man. They really treat minorities and women like pawns. They really treat you like non-sentient entities. It's got to be so insulting. Like, we're here to celebrate women. We're going to promote you, like with all but saying we promoted you because you're a woman. And we want you to go and do woman things and talk about your sexual preference. Like, hey, don't you want me to manage the materials division? But then I'm sitting there, I think about, well, you guys are turning around and suing your employers. So what do you care? You don't, I mean, the SVB gal, she couldn't shut up about being a lesbian when she was the head of risk in the UK. So maybe it's all just a big effort round. Maybe everybody's LARPing again. Bob, $5. As represent of the do 3000, I'm offended by your hurtful comment. Let me talk to your boss. You will be canceled because cancel Cappy. Hashtag laugh out loud. Here's another reason, guys, why you all, gals, this is all why you become self-employed or you contract for these firms. You never become a W-2 for these. I mean, you're going to have to, or, initially in your career. But once you start making enough money on the side and contracting, no, I'm not sitting in your meetings. No, I'm not getting in my MBA. And no, I'm not sitting in your diversity and inclusion thing. No, absolutely not. Well, all of our contractors, well, I guess I'm not your contractor anymore. Oh my goodness. The guy who's critical and knows the stuff, he's not going to sit for diversity and inclusion. And then they come back, all right, you don't have to. You see, yeah, well, that whole thing just doubled my hourly rate. Oh my God. The critical person who has the technological know-how to do the thing we absolutely need because we don't have any skilled, talented people. We just have MBAs. He doubled his salary hourly requirement. We're not going to do it. Well, you need me. Oh, okay. Glad you came around. Generation Apollo, $5. I'm sure they set aside enough reserves, tucked away safely at SVB. It's not going to survive in the long run. It isn't. I don't care how big these corporations are. You cannot hire people based on political motivations and not ability in the long run. You just can't. And just look at the horrifically bad slop Disney has produced. I mean, forget whatever, the whitewashing or the race swapping, whatever. Forget all the politics. It's just bad. It's horrible. Okay, here, you don't believe me. Why did the banks go belly up? This has nothing to do, that's predominantly white men, or it was back in the day. Why did the banks go belly up? Not recently, but back in 2007. Did they hire the best? No, it was nepotism. It was cronyism. We only hire from Harvard. We only hire from Wharton. BFF, here's my nephew, Putz. Oh, Putz the third. Oh, yes. Oh, he doesn't know how to add, but make him head of marketing. You hired incompetent people. That's what it boils down to. You didn't hire the best. You hired your cousins, your brothers, your frat boys. He went to my alma mater. And now all this is the modern day version of that, except instead of, he went to my fraternity. It's like, we share a genetic thing in common. We claim to like to lick the same genitalia. I wonder how it's going to work out. Nonstop Dre, $2. Money for Cappy's lawsuit from the Carlson School in PETA. I would. Don't threaten me with a good time, Dre. All right, that's it. Link below is enjoy the decline. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.